welcome to All Steelers Talk, your home for everything Pittsburgh Steelers, presented by allsteelers.com. What is up, Steelers Nation? Thank you so much for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. I'm your host, Noah Strackbine, joined every Tuesday and Thursday by my main man, Donnie Droon, out in northern Phoenix, Arizona. Thank you so much. Find us on youtube.com/allsteelerstalk or anywhere you get your podcasts. And before we jumped on here, Steelers got big news. Signing Larry Ogunjobi to a one-year deal, beefing up the defensive line, in a signing that I believe both of us have been preaching for a hot minute is the perfect deal for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Really solidifies their defensive depth. On top of that, I'm sitting in my attic right now. I'm pouring sweat. It's 95 degrees here in Pittsburgh. I'm sure that's baby weather for you out in northern Phoenix, Arizona, my friend. How you feeling?
Feeling great, yeah. I think today was the first official start of summer.
It was.
But if you live in Phoenix, it's been summer for like 2 months. So it ain't nothing new over here. Summer basically is from April to like late October. And then it starts like cooling down a little bit.
What is cool? So 75 degrees?
Anything under 70, yeah. I would say so.
That's winter. That's full-blown summer here in the good old Pittsburgh. And just like the heat outside, Omar Khan has been bringing the heat to the Pittsburgh Steelers roster. Do you like what I did there? That was nice. Larry Ogunjobi, signs himself to a one-year deal with the Pittsburgh Steelers. Big news all around. For one, signed with the Chicago Bears a couple of months ago in the beginning of free agency, a pretty big deal. Failed his physical, which left a lot of worry concerning his foot injury that he suffered during the season in Cincinnati. Comes to Pittsburgh for a visit. You'd have to imagine that the doctors looked at him to some degree. Somebody said, yeah, he'll be fine by the season, I would guess. Means that he should be at least good to go at some point, enough that you feel confident in signing him. Number two, I think this solidifies that the Pittsburgh Steelers didn't have any idea Stephon Tuitt was going to retire until he told them he was going to. They kind of were beep out of luck for inside defensive line depth. They got, in my opinion, the best possible outcome they could possibly get. What are your thoughts on the new one-year deal for the Pittsburgh Steelers?
Yeah, just a week after Omar Khan takes over the reins, he gets Mika Fitzpatrick and makes him the highest-paid safety in all of football history. Next week, comes in, says, Stephon Tuitt, don't even know him. Larry Ogunjobi, come on down, brother. I like the name. I do hesitate a little bit on the failed physical part. He failed the physical with the Bears after signing a 3-year, $40.5 million deal. That was in March, which is only a couple months removed from his foot surgery. So obviously, like 3 months later, I think you probably said it best. Like the doctors and the medical team would have had to have looked at him. I'm sure that was probably one of the first questions, that they had brought up is, hey man, how's that foot looking? Because if the Bears didn't want to give you $40 million, why should we sign you to a one-year deal?
Yep.
But like medical stuff aside, because like nobody's in that room to hear those conversations and to see all of that, you have to assume that they liked what they saw and they believe he'll be ready to go. And if he is ready to go, Noah Strackbine, I think they're getting a very, very talented player. First and foremost, the best ability is availability, and he has exactly been that. He has played no less than 14 games throughout his entire career. He's only missed 3 games in his last 4 years, and he started all of those games the entire time for the Browns, and then obviously last year with the Bengals as well. Speaking of the Bengals, he did have his best year statistically speaking, 7 sacks, 16 quarterback hits, 49 tackles, 12 of those being for a loss last year with Cincinnati, nearly winning a Super Bowl with them, but obviously he got hurt in the playoff game, and then the Bengals fell to the Rams in the Super Bowl. Now last year, financially, his one-year deal was worth $6.2 million. You have to imagine it's somewhere in that ballpark as well. We know, and we talked last week about the Steelers having pretty big salary cap space and stuff to maneuver with.
Yeah, 22 million.
I don't think this is breaking the bank at all for Pittsburgh. I think they get a guy who is starter quality, who can step in and at least try to fill in some of the some of the gaps left by Stephon Tuitt last year. I don't exactly know how he fits in stopping the run. That is something the Steelers do need to get better on. But he seems to be a very, very good pass rusher. Obviously, him playing in the AFC North for Cleveland and Cincinnati. Steeler fans, they've seen him probably more than any other free agent defensive lineman out on the market. And then John pointed out in the chat, yeah, he was involved in the Myles Garrett, Mason Rudolph incident.
Who cares? That was 3 years ago.
Yeah, so
it was a long time ago.
Nothing's
Steelers aren't worried about that.
Yeah.
No, if you listen to the Mike Tomlin pivot thing today, I mean, the dude had great things to say about Antonio Brown. If you could clear up Antonio Brown and Mike Tomlin, there are no grudges in Pittsburgh. I'm sure Mason Rudolph is totally fine, especially competing for the starting job. Like if this was Mason last year, I'd be like a little shook, a little upset. This year, he's competing for the starting job. He wants the best team around him. At no point is anybody going, oh, that guy shoved me.
Yep.
That guy, don't get me wrong, nearly got him killed, but that was 3 years ago. It is what it is. I agree. I think it's the perfect addition for the Steelers. I don't know how well it clears up the run game, but in the pass game, you don't get much better. I mean, he should have been signed months ago. Somehow made his way here. I think everything happens for a reason, and that's a good thing. Do you think it's a guarantee that he doesn't start this season? I don't think that they're going to remove Chris Wormley from the starting lineup, but I don't think they're going to hand anybody a job now.
No, for sure. And I was actually kind of debating with that within myself before we hopped on the podcast, because the Steelers do like Chris Wormley. Like they really do like him, but I think they like him just a little bit more as that really valuable, I guess, sixth man, if you want to call him that, coming off the bench and being a rotational piece. I think the Steelers will be at their strongest defensively whenever you have Cam Hayward and Ogunjobi out there. Obviously, we haven't seen him in Pittsburgh. We don't know what he looks like in black and gold. And the NFL is such a year-to-year thing, especially whenever you are 28 years old. But you look at his track record, you look at what he's been able to do. I mean, there's no reason for him not to start. I don't think Ogunjobi came here to be a rotational piece. I think the Steelers didn't sign him to be a rotational piece. They needed an answer for Stephon Tuitt, and I think they got it. Chris Wormley, obviously, you have DeMarvin Leal and Isaiah Loudermilk. It's not a terrible depth behind Cam Hayward and Ogunjobi, just in terms of upside and a proven veteran to kind of even out the scale.
Yeah, the weird thing is Ogunjobi is going to play defensive end. I have to go back and watch the tape because I don't understand how much defensive tackle and how much defensive end he's actually played.
Yeah,
I think
he played the identical role to Cam Hayward.
And he won't play that in Pittsburgh.
Yeah,
you have
to also remember too that the Steelers, as well as anybody in the NFL, they run a lot of nickel. Nickel is basically the essential base package now. Rarely do teams roll out their 3-4 and the 4-3 majority of the time during an NFL game, and especially the Steelers too. And I'm really curious to see what Terrell Austin's going to do with this defense, and especially the defensive line rotation and the packages he can come up with. But his fit isn't going to be a big question for me. Obviously, he's not Cam Hayward. He's not going to take over Cameron Hayward's role. I don't he can't play nose tackle. He probably could if he wanted to, but that's not his best fit. So I mean, it'll be really interesting to see. But just in terms of fit, I have no qualms or worries about where he kind of falls in the Steelers defensive line.
Yeah, I think that he fits pretty much everywhere. I think Wormley's going to start, but I think that's a conversation to have later down the road just because the Steelers, for some reason, really like Chris Wormley. And I agree with you. I think Chris Wormley is a phenomenal rotation piece. As good as they come, actually, because when he's out there, he could get you 7 sacks on 7 pressures, but the other 50 snaps that he'll take in that game, wasted space every single time. I think Larry Ogunjobi is a dude who could come in here and make a big impact. And you mentioned DeMarvin Leal. I think that's the biggest beneficiary from this entire signing. You just removed so much pressure from a dude who was going to be shoved into a lineup to be Isaiah Loudermilk 2.0. And we all saw how that went last year. Everybody had upside for him, but you just knew it just wasn't enough. You wanted somebody who had a more proven track record, I should say. Now you have Isaiah Loudermilk to replace Cam Hayward. You have Chris Wormley to replace Ogunjobi, or Ogunjobi to replace Wormley. And then DeMarvin Leal just gets to play a rotation piece behind both of them. Monty Adams replaces Tyson Alualu. I think it's a beautiful signing. Like, it's the best signing that they could have possibly made.
Yeah.
Now, just to answer some questions in the chat here, I saw this somewhere. Who would start, Chris Wormley or Tyson Alualu? Tyson Alualu is going to start at nose tackle. Chris Wormley is by no means a nose tackle. So I think Wormley and Ogunjobi are going to compete for the starting defensive end job. I think Wormley's going to get it just by the Steelers' veteran ways of, like, he's been here, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't mean Ogunjobi doesn't start over him, at some point if it's not by week 1. But I think, to start training camp, nothing's going to be handed to him. It's a Mike Tomlin classic of you got to go out and prove yourself every single time.
Well, ideally, both guys are good enough to where you feel comfortable rotating them.
I think both of them play quality snaps. Yeah. Like, they're a 50-50 split, which is perfect because Chris Wormley, like I said, like, what do you have? He had seven sacks last season, and he had like 11 pressures. So every time he makes a play, he makes a play. But the rest of the time he's on the field, you wish somebody else was on the field. That's all you need. If Chris Wormley could play 30 snaps and Ogunjobi could play 35 or 40, that's beautiful, beautiful rotation to me. Do we have the contract numbers for Larry Ogunjobi? They were not released by the Steelers. I have not seen them yet.
Deal, right?
It is a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
I don't know what the financial terms of it are. I'm sure those will be released.
Well, like I said earlier, he signed a 1-year deal with Cincinnati for $6.2 million last year, so I can't imagine it's anything.
No, it's not going to be astronomical.
Yeah.
It's definitely going to be an Omar Khan style team-friendly deal, which I believe is, dude, just so how nice is it that Omar Khan's sitting in the driver's seat in every single contract now from here on out? You got to just go like, yeah, chances are the cap hits like $1 million.
Yeah, for sure.
Nah, it is whatever, there's no big deal here. I think it's the perfect signing. I don't really even know what else to talk about because the Steelers, usually we're like, oh, well, what could happen, blah, blah, blah. Like, nothing could happen. The Steelers just made the best decision they can make for the first time in a long time. It feels like they've made something smooth and quickly, which I guess I could ask this. Do you feel like the tides are changing a little bit with Omar Khan here? Things are getting done in a smooth and rapid fashion.
It's exciting. Especially and like, I'm sure everybody can relate to this. Like, being a Steelers fan for so long, you just learn to not expect anything during the offseason. And if a guy is up for a contract extension, unless they are just like out of this world, you really don't expect them to hit like crazy numbers. And you're so used to like stuff being pushed back to like the final second. Omar Khan does not seem about that life. Like he since he is kind of taken over officially as the head guy, he has not wasted any time. He's not wasted any time at all. And I think if you're Deontay Johnson, I think that's really exciting.
No, if you're Deontay Johnson, you are super hyped. Shout out to Vic, my dude.
Thank you, Vic.
If you're Deontay Johnson, you're hyped right now. There's nothing about it. You're looking at this entire thing and you're going, this guy means business. Business. And he knows how to work his way around. I mean, Omar Khan, first opinion. And I know Omar Khan just from talking to him on the sideline at the facility during games, blah, blah, blah. Great dude, genuine guy. As a member of Steelers Nation, beautiful. Absolutely flawless transition here into the GM spot. Easy. This is a good comment right here from Michael. J.C. Tretter, next 2-year contract. That name has been floated out quite a bit for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Are you not about that life?
No, I was looking at Michael's profile picture. Don't bring it back up, but we'll talk about it after the show. I do like J.C. Tretter. Yeah, I think that'd be a good ad.
I agree. What did I miss? What was Michael's profile picture? Is it inappropriate?
Don't bring it back up.
Are we gonna get hit with like YouTube copyright or something?
Just don't bring it back up.
Is it a big middle finger from Shrek?
It's a big something.
Oh, is it a big wang from Shrek?
I think so.
Then Michael getting us. That's not great, man. That's not great. I could see J.C. Tretter. I'm about J.C. Tretter. I don't think the Steelers, like, it's Mason Cole, I think they feel confident in. I think if it was Kendrick Green still, we'd talk about it. But like, why would you go sign Mason Cole and then go sign J.C. Tretter when
Right.
J.C. Tretter was available when you signed Mason Cole? You know,
Yep.
like it's not like you didn't talk to both of them, and you're just like, all right, well, we went with this guy, but regret we didn't see anybody in pads. We're gonna go back. I like the name. I really like J.C. Tretter. I think he's a phenomenal football player. I just think that the Steelers are going to roll what they got, which is
little late in the process for him to.
That's what I'm saying. At this point, the
comeback
Steelers are just rocking with what they have, and it's just like you got to just feel your type of way about it, which you shouldn't feel good. I think a lot of people talk about the offensive line, and they're like, I feel a lot better about the offensive line. Feel exactly the same as you felt in February about the offensive line because we have no idea how much better it got. That being said, if you're an optimistic person, remain optimistic, no doubt. All right, so just to go full circle here with Michael's giant Shrek wang, we believe we got a word here from our boys at Manscaped. There's a certain confidence that comes with being properly groomed. There's an aura, a vibe. You can just tell by the way they carry themselves. We call this BGE, Big Groomed Energy. And there's only one way to get that BGE, Manscaped. We'd like to introduce you to their best and biggest ultra hygiene bundle yet, the Platinum Package 4.0. Manscaped, the leader in below-the-waist grooming, now trust them with the rest. Join the 4 million men worldwide who trust Manscaped by going to manscaped.com for 20% off plus free shipping with our code ALLSteelers. Donnie, I will say, I use Manscaped all the time. It gets me out of tight situations, especially with the body spray when I'm smelling all nasty, but I got to go get a bagel or something in the morning. I'm running late. Overall, I'm a fan. Definitely boosts my confidence 100%.
Not for sure. So I hit the gym like 4 or 5 times a week on top of playing soccer with the wife. So obviously, like the conditions down there aren't exactly ideal. They sent us a package actually. Manscaped did like about a week ago, and one of them was the crop preserver.
Yeah, fantastic.
Smelling phenomenal, bro. Like post pre-workout, whatever you need it. It's there.
100%. I'm all about it. I use it on date night, obviously, for obvious reasons. I hope the fiance's mom watches this one. Manscaped's brand new Platinum Package 4.0 is the biggest bundle they've ever offered, giving you a bulk discount on Manscaped's top products. The Manscaped's Platinum Package 4.0 is the one-stop shop for the man who deserves it all. They designed this package to allow you to fully align your entire hygiene routine with elite products. Inside the Platinum Package, you'll find their Lawnmower 4.0 trimmer, Weed Whacker air and nose hair trimmer, Ultra Premium Body Wash, Ultra Premium 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner, Ultra Premium deodorant, Crop Preserver Anti-Chafing Ball Deodorant, Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray, Anti-Chafing Boxers, and the Shed Travel Bag to hold all your goods while traveling. I have no idea how you're fitting all that in a Shed Travel Bag, but my God, is that a lot of stuff. The Lawnmower 4.0 body trimmer and Weed Whacker hair, nose, and ear hair trimmer, feature advanced skin-safe technology. It's advanced skin-safe technology. Sorry, my uncle just called me. I don't know why. To protect your delicate parts and holes. Both are waterproof, so you can shave with less mess. In addition to shaving, you can now completely upgrade your shower routine with the Ultra Premium Body Wash and Ultra Premium 2-in-1 shampoo and conditioner. You'll have your skin and hair feeling hydrated and smelling fresh. Don't forget to apply their aluminum-free Ultra Premium deodorant for the cologne quality scent on the go. But it's not just your pits that stink. Sometimes your balls stink too. Thankfully, their Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner can solve this problem for you. Once they touch your sack, you'll never go back. Manscaped even threw in 2 free gifts to their Platinum Package 4.0, the Manscaped Boxers and the Shed Travel Bag. Bring your confidence, bring your comfort and boxers to another level. The Platinum Package 4.0 covers all the bases from trimming to showering to leaving the gym and smelling nice. This is the best bang for your buck, hands down. Get 20% off plus free shipping with the code ALLSteelers at manscaped.com. That's 20% off with free shipping at manscaped.com. And all you got to do is use our promo code ALLSteelers. Unlock your big groomed energy with Manscaped. And remember, when you trim the hedges, the tree stands taller. Gotta love it. That was, I don't know what they're doing. I don't know how they're coming up with this.
Please go read the comment section.
Is the comment section good? Is it really good?
It's always great on All Steelers Talk, but like that 5-minute ad read you just did.
Yeah.
Chef's kiss.
Yeah. 100%. I'm not going to show a comment. I want to show a comment. Shout out Donald in the comments.
Yeah. Great name.
Great name. Great comment. Good for you. It was a long one, but like I said, dude, they just tossed you.
It really is good
things.
Stuff. Like
that's what I'm saying. They just gave you 100 things. Like I don't know how much that package is, but you're getting 20% off, and you never have to buy products ever again. Like that's phenomenal. I just read that ad read for the first time before we jumped on here. Cannot believe it. Could not believe how quality that is. All right. Do we have any other questions before we jump into Chase Claypool?
There are
here?
a couple, but it relates to the Mike Tomlin pivot thing. Mostly talking about the 2 Super Bowl trophies kind of chilling in the background behind him. People in the comments are correct. Yeah. Whenever he was the DB coach for Tampa.
Yeah, 1-1. Yeah, it took me a second to get that one too. 1-1 with Tampa Bay, 1-1 with the Steelers, obviously. I thought the pivot conversation was fantastic.
Phenomenal.
Like Mike Tomlin in that arena, when you get him in a space where he feels comfortable, I mean, I don't think there's anybody better in the NFL. I really don't. Yep. Like phenomenal. All right. What about, besides the O-line piece, we need a running back too, possibly. Alex Collins, question mark? Never thought about Alex Collins.
Baltimore. Yeah, I would not have any qualms with that as long as Collins kind of came here and understood that Najee's going to be the lead guy. But then again, like Collins, for the most part in Baltimore, like he understood he was never the lead guy. But like the Ravens did a really good job of using pretty much every tool in their backfield. Whereas like it looks as if Najee's going to be the main guy more times than not, like which is good and bad. But from a talent perspective, yeah, I think Collins would come in here, and I think he'd be RB2 immediately here in Pittsburgh.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think him and Benny Snell would possibly not mesh well. They're like the same player. Alex Collins is an upgrade from Benny Snell. I would have to see how his special teams played out, because I think at some point the Steelers want to respect Benny Snell, as crazy as that sounds. And I don't think they should have to, but I think that's how they're operating when it comes to him, because he does play quality special teams. He does pass block quite well. I would have to see how good Alex Collins plays special teams. As an RB2, as crazy as this sounds, the Steelers don't want anybody to take away from Najee Harris's touches.
For sure.
I don't know. All they want to do is just take him off the field for 7 more plays, which essentially they could do a million things with those 7 different plays. And they plan to utilize them in different ways. But that's their entire game plan. If we could get Najee off the field for 7 more plays, he'll be fine. Do I believe it? No. But I think that's their mindset. And to me, that means they have no intentions of signing. And they'd let both of the undrafted guys be there before they let anybody else. Easy. You're laughing. Is there a lot going on right now?
Nah. The Steelers freak ordering the silk pigskin lotion kind of made me chuckle. So I was all right. I'll come clean. I was thinking about Michael's Shrek picture, to be honest.
We're stuck on the Shrek picture, huh?
Dude, you have to see it, man.
So just to address Phantom TVs here, Noah should do nosy Viceland type interviews and do day in the life videos with NFL players. Cool. I've realized very quickly, being in the locker room, that everybody I work with is 50 years old minimum. And it's quite easy to connect with guys who are 23 when I'm 26 and talk like I'm 18. So I think I would do a great job. If I could follow an NFL player around, like if I could follow Najee Harris around all day, I'd probably be the life of the party over him, which would be terrible. But like I'd be doing the dumb stuff, and he'd just be like laughing at me all the time. Yeah. And I think it would be great. I'm all about it. Najee Harris, if you're watching this, hit us up. All right, let's talk about Chase Claypool. That's how we'll end this one off. The other day, yesterday, is it yesterday now? Went on I Am Athlete podcast, talked about a lot. And I did a Steelers to Go episode today about everything that he touched on, the big stuff, Ben Roethlisberger, Dwayne Haskins' death, which I thought was, really deep and kind of cool of him to talk about. And then he said, and, tell me if I'm wrong, but I know for a fact I'm not wrong, that he is a top 3, because he started with 5, ended with 3, wide receiver in the NFL. And I've been thinking about it for 24 hours now, nonstop. I got no issues with what he said, and we're going to get to that, but I think I'm all about it. I'm all about that life, especially the way that he's acting this offseason. But I'm going to ask you this. Mm-hmm. Who are the top 3 wide receivers in the NFL? Because I'm having a hard time coming up with it.
Top 3 right now. Got to put Cooper Kupp up there. Heading into next year, I feel like Jamar Chase has to be up there. I don't feel comfortable giving you a third without leaving anybody out, because there's so many guys who just come and go with injuries, and Devontae, yeah.
Did you say Kupp 1? Did you say Kupp 1?
Yeah, so I'll go 1?
Cooper Kupp
I'll go
1.
Cooper Kupp number 1.
Devontae might be 2. Devontae's a good 2.
I do. I love Devontae Adams. He's incredibly good. Little curious to see how he's going to do in Vegas. I don't think his numbers are going to drop off drastically. But dude, that connection he had with Aaron Rodgers was so special, man. So incredibly fun to watch. So I'm seeing other guys Stephon Diggs, phenomenal. Justin Jefferson,
a good one.
Well on his way to becoming one of the best in the league.
Yeah. Jamar Chase, I would say there. DeAndre Hopkins, you can make an argument for every single season. There's quite a few, Deebo Samuels might be on his way. AJ Brown might be on his way.
I love Julio, but dude, he's
Julio's gone.
Not healthy. Texreek too. Yeah, Tyreek's at least top 5.
Yeah, he's got to be up there. There's those guys, and I texted you before the show and I was like, yo, let's just rank all the wide receivers until we get to Chase Claypool. And you're like, that's just a waste of time.
No, it's not a waste of time. It's going to take up a whole podcast, though.
It would take up a whole podcast. I would say that he's probably, and I didn't think about it after you shut me down. I was like, all right, well, I'm going to the gym then. And because I was going to make the list. I was ready to make the list.
Man. Get the graphic ready.
I was thinking he had to be in the 30s, maybe 40s. But we just rattled off 6 guys as the top 3. That's already 6. We haven't even come close. Deontay Johnson's nowhere near those guys, and he's ahead of Chase Claypool. There's a whole league before we get to Chase Claypool, a whole league, which, we all kind of knew that as soon as he said it. I still like what he said, very much so.
For sure.
I think it showed confidence. I think every wide receiver is a diva, so I don't really care about that notion. If they want attention, they're the type of guys to go work and get attention. If you're a wide receiver, you don't get attention for doing nothing. You got to prove it. 1,300 yards and 10 touchdowns, which is what he predicted. All about that life. If he could do it, I think he shuts a lot of people up. And even if he's not top 3, he went out there and said, look at guys, I'm way better than everybody expects I am. On top of that, I think there's a couple of things that I want to get to that show that Chase Claypool is doing way more than on-field stuff, and I'm very excited about it. But I'll let you give your thoughts on why it was good or bad to be said.
Yeah, I think if Chase has any self-awareness, he knows that he's not actually a top 3 receiver in the league. That's not a bad thing, because how many receivers are there in the NFL, and how many of them are actually top 3, top 5, like we talked about? You got to be top 1% at your job, at your position in the NFL, in order to be considered top 3. So it's whatever. I'm sure he knows he's not actually a top 3 receiver in the league.
Yeah, yeah.
But I do really like the mentality, and you had already brought that up too. Is in order for you to actually become the receiver you want to be, you have to already put yourself in that mindset. Like
Yep.
no great receiver has ever walked into an NFL field and be like, "Yeah, I'm all right.
Yep.
No, I'm good." Yeah, no, like you have to convince yourself you're going to go out there and dominate before you actually go and do it. Claypool's a diva, but like you said, I feel like a lot of the other receivers in the NFL are divas. It's kind of just how they're built and how they are. But I mean, if being a diva gets you great production, I'm here. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
No problem with the confidence. I would rather him talk like that and think like that as opposed to him like being down on himself, because it all starts mentally. And like if you're not mentally there on game day, if you're not mentally there on each practice rep that you're doing, and you don't think you're the actual best, what are you doing here?
Exactly. What do you do? Nobody's ever been great by thinking that they're mediocre. Ever in any profession. Nobody has ever walked outside and said, "Man, I am just average," and then did great things. That's not how that works. Everybody, we're in the day of age of manifestation, of talking to the universe. Go outside and scream at the sky, man, and tell it all your dreams and goals, because that's how they're going to happen. You can't do anything until you say it out loud. I was all about it. As soon as it said, and people made a joke, like PFF went off, but PFF is PFF. But like Steelers media, Steelers fans started clowning him. And I'm just looking, I'm like, what do you want him to say? Like, oh yeah, man, this season I might be top 40. I don't know, maybe. I might be top 55. You never know. I think I'm going to catch Deontay at some point. Like, what? Cut him tomorrow if that's his attitude. If that's what you're looking for, you could talk to Cody White on that team. And I bet you he says, yeah, dude, I have the skill set to be the best wide receiver in football. Because that's how every single player on the NFL should be. You should go talk to one of the undrafted running backs, one of the undrafted offensive linemen, and ask them how good they think they are. 10 out of 10 times, they're going to say, oh, I'm phenomenal. I'm the best player on this field. Doesn't mean that they are.
I will say, sorry for interrupting you. I will say,
no.
If he's saying he's different, and he's saying he's every bit of the Mapletron that he started printing the shirts off right after he was drafted and what he's supposed to be, he's got to go out and prove it. He has to go out.
Yeah.
He has to go out there and do it.
He put a target on his back. But, you know, nobody's ever looked at Chase Claypool and said, you can't be great. You know? Since he's been drafted, everybody's like, nobody once has said, this guy is going to suck. Like, even when he has sucked, everybody's like, this dude could be so good.
That's why it's so frustrating watching him.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. Like, that's where the criticism comes, is that he doesn't meet those standards. He's built like the best wide receiver in football. He's got all the physical traits of the best wide receiver in football. He's got to learn how to catch the ball properly. He's got to learn how to stay on his feet, and he's got to play a little tougher. That's all he's got to do. But like, and I know those are big things, but he put a target on his back, and I think that target's good. Like, if anything, I want to hear that, you know, because next year it's either going to tell the Pittsburgh Steelers to get rid of you because you put that goal out for yourself and said, I'm a top 3 wide receiver in the NFL, and then didn't prove it, or it's going to show the Steelers, this dude's a superstar. We got to keep him around for as long as humanly possible. And contract year next year, that's the way to go. Easy.
Claypool's going to do himself a lot of favors if he goes out and balls like he should. And then he's also going to do the Steelers a lot of favors if he goes out and does it for obvious reasons. Like, you have a trio of Deontay Johnson, George Pickens, and Chase Claypool, on the field.
I don't even know who Chase Clayfield is. I have no idea. I thought I was the one struggling with
no clue. Somebody in that trio is going to have a one-on-one matchup. Most of the time, it's not going to be Deontay.
Nope.
George Pickens, I mean, he's looking really good in training camp. We'll see what it looks like in training camp. We'll see what the preseason has in store for him. But there's a lot of hype about him. Claypool's going to have a lot of opportunities, man. He's going to have a lot of opportunities to display, what was it, that 4.3 speed he had at the NFL Combine, 4.4, whatever it was, and then display that 6'4", 6'5", behemoth of a body frame that he has. Yep. I mean, you have those two tools, and you look at the game. I think it was the Philadelphia game where you had like the 4 or 5 touchdowns, and you're like, we got him in the second round. Like, this looks great. Like, this guy looks everything like he's supposed to. And then you look at a lot of the other times where he messed up, where he dropped the ball, where, he celebrated while the clock's running, or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
The good does not outweigh the bad. So far, the good does not outweigh the bad. But
No.
coming up, this is probably going to be his best opportunity to do so. We've talked about Big Ben no longer being on the team, and I know we all love Ben Roethlisberger, but for Claypool's type of receiver and what he should be able to do in terms of pushing the ball downfield and going up and getting it, probably your chances with either Trubisky or Pickett, pushing the ball and giving him a little bit of a better shot than doing that. At least whenever you have George Pickens and Deontay Johnson working as the other two receivers on the field.
Yeah, I think that Chase in this offense is built 10 times better than Chase in last year's offense.
For sure.
One, let him move around, let him play inside, let him play outside. He works best with the ball in his hands. Matt Canada is all about getting the skill guys the balls in their hand. Stop telling them to just go for jump balls, play after play after play. Let him actually use his speed, the whole nine. This is the year, there's no holding back. This is the year. He's going to have a lot of pressure on him. Even if Deontay is great and George Pickens is great, and I think that's the biggest thing about this season that's going to tell, Chase Claypool is going to be the dude that people are looking at. Deontay, what you're going to get in Deontay. We've seen how good Deontay could be. Teams, when they're game planning for the Pittsburgh Steelers, are not going to say we're putting two people on Deontay Johnson and we're going to let Chase Claypool go up against our nickel. Not happening, and they will double team Deontay. He'll be their number 2 target, easy. But Chase Claypool's on the uncertainty of what we're about to get from him this season, I think is the scariest thing for opposing teams. Because Chase Claypool could be an 800-yard, 2-touchdown guy again. Easy. He could be a 1,400-yard, 10-touchdown guy in the blink of an eye. He put up 10 touchdowns, 9 touchdowns as a rookie in 800 yards. And time again, we talked about, Chase Claypool's got to get on the field more. Chase Claypool's got to get on the field more. And they didn't do it. Imagine an offense that actually flows properly with Chase Claypool doing big things. Scary stuff, man. Scary stuff. The name Miles Boykin came up a couple of times in the chat. I want to address
Austin too.
Calvin Austin as well. I want to talk about, I guess, a couple of those guys before we head out. For Miles Boykin, I don't know what to expect of Miles Boykin. We talked about him a little bit when he got signed. I mean, the big guys, obviously. Boykin never really did anything with his NFL career. That being said, I don't think he was cut because he sucked. I think he was cut because his cap hit was too high and they needed to make cap space. I mean, I don't know. I don't have any expectations. What I will tell you is I have huge expectations for Calvin Austin. Maybe not ginormous, but I have big ones. And I think Anthony Miller is going to make the team. As crazy as that sounds, I think Anthony Miller is going to make the team and hopefully revive his career. But he's 27 years old. That's old for a wide receiver who's not on an active roster. So I don't know. Those are my thoughts on all the guys out there. Anthony Miller was a go-to guy for Mitchell Trubisky.
Yep, that is true.
That is true. All right. We'll answer this one and then we'll get out of here. Did the Steelers really sign Ogunjobi? There's no space, but yes, they stinking did. Pittsburgh Steelers locked in a new defensive tackle, big name. We talked about it a lot at the beginning of this, so go back, check it out. Thank you, everybody, for jumping on to another episode of All Steelers Talk. Find us on youtube.com/All Steelers Talk or anywhere you get your podcast. We'll be back on Thursday. Stay warm. Go buy your Ogunjobi jerseys. We'll see you. Peace.